Thank you. If you look at the rules about who can become a judge, to become a Court of Appeals head judge, you have to live in New York State, you have to be admitted to practice the law for 10 years, and you have to be a member of good standing in the Bar Association. That's it. So by those rules, probably every lawyer here is qualified to be the head of the Court of Appeals. But that's not where it stops. The person who wants to be head of the Court of Appeals has to come through a process. And that person came through a process. The person was given full consideration, hours and hours of testimony. Wide range of New Yorkers spoke out for his nomination, against his nomination. I myself spent hours reading appellate decisions. I refrained from making public comments on this until the Judiciary Committee met. It was a good meeting. People asked questions on both sides. But at the end of the day, only 2 people voted yes. You heard today laudatory comments on how this is the best judge ever, but the people on the very committee didn't even vote yes. Now somehow this is the best judge in the land. Oh boy, does the hypocrisy reign. So I look at who should be on the judge, who should be a judge on the top Court of Appeals through my prism. And my prism is someone who spent most of their career as a lawyer helping the dispossessed. So how does the court treat people in need? And I read a case called Cablevision. And in that case, this judge went out of his way to make it so you can sue union members for doing their job. And they made it easier for billionaires to squash little people. And I said, gee, I don't like that case. Then I read about some of the decisions in the reproductive rights area, where once again, this judge went out of their way to assert the rights of a crisis pregnancy center, to somehow give them equal footing to spread disinformation to people in our society. And I said, that doesn't seem like somebody who should be leading New York State's highest court. And then you look at some of the criminal law decisions. For a long time, it's been well established that you can't say to somebody, you can't serve on a jury because of your race. It took us an amazingly long period of time to get to that point in America, the 1990s. But somehow the nominee decided that you could be taken off the jury because of the color of your skin, but that's not race, and that's okay. And once again, that doesn't sound to me like somebody who we want leading New York State's highest court. So it's no wonder that the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, various labor unions, and reproductive rights groups from around New York State said to us, please don't let somebody with these viewpoints lead our highest court. And we all know, based on what's been happening in the Supreme Court, that it turns out the people we put on these benches matters. And it matters to the lives of common, everyday Americans and common, everyday New Yorkers. New York has a broad and expansive constitution. It's not a piece of parchment written with a turkey quill. It's a big constitution. And for generations, the Court of Appeals has given discretion to the legislature to say, it's your constitution, you're the legislator, figure it out. But what we've seen in the last decade is a gradual tightening of that, saying the legislator does not have the ability to make laws pursuant to the Constitution. So New York State needs a chief judge who has a broad vision of the law, has a broad vision of how law affects society, and knows that the decisions of those courts affect everybody in society. But the court cases we saw and read gave an excessively narrow vision of the law, a court with their handcuffs on. I can't work to protect the rights to unionize. I can't work to protect the rights of women. I can't work to protect the rights of minorities to sit on criminal justice panels. Narrow vision, too narrow for a broad constitution. So we need a chief judge in New York State with a broad legal vision that could interpret our broad Constitution. That's why I voted no in committee, and that's why I am voting no today.